My name's Aaron Stinner, here at Stinner Frameworks, Santa Barbara, California.
Chris Elson, project manager here at Stinner Frameworks, and talking about one of our favorite projects,
The Romero.
Our most exciting project.
I mean, I think we've wanted to build a full suspension for a really long time. So this is his second journey here at Stinner. First, literally one of our first employees that we ever hired,
Yeah.
but we bought a Ventana rear end, I think
In
2 weeks into your...
Yeah, very quickly
employment.
after I started, because I ride hardtails. And yeah, that was 2014. Yeah.
So back then, Ventana already had a platform that we could use as frame builders, like back then when we were building only a few bikes a year.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of started then. Never built that bike.
No.
And
Still hanging out.
other projects took priority and has always been on the back burner. We always wanted to do something like this. And I think we finally got to a point where we had the bandwidth and had the capacity as a team to put something together that was more than just taking a bolted on rear end and making something that was our own.
Yeah. No, and there's definitely some kind of synergy with the work that Ministry's doing, working with them on a rear end. It obviously is modular, it's bolt on, but building the rear end with that is kind of a big part of it, is being able to control that whole process and take the clever features that Chris has designed into Chris from Ministry and package it in a way that is ours, that we can kind of control the outcome of and the final product, versus being tied into what someone else has been doing.
Yeah, I think part of it is we didn't want to do it a horse link bike. A bunch of people have done horse link bikes. What other options are there? There's a single pivot.
A single pivot, a linkage actuated single pivot. I mean, so the 3VO kit from Ministry, and I think he's genuinely done something pretty clever with the way he's packaged the system, and honestly made our jobs a little easier in terms of design. Easier and harder. So there's some challenges, and I think that comes with any suspension, but it's there's a lot of horse link bikes, there's a lot of single pivot bikes, and they're great. You can make that work really easily, but I think this does some things that, not that other systems don't do, but in a novel way.
Yeah. That
I think is going to make for a pretty cool bike.
Why did we show up to Made with this bike?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people think this is what the final iteration is going to be like.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing is this is not the final iteration of what this bike
prototype
is.
Means prototype means not production.
So, we just touched on why the 3VO. So I think the 3VO platform itself, I was really inspired by it, mostly just because it was the research that I had done and the conversations that I had with Chris was that, in general, it's a really good trail suspension platform for well-balanced platform for the general rider, right?
Yeah.
It's compliant. It's got all the right stuff in all the right places.
Yeah.
For the general rider. Yeah. It's not trying to be too extreme. It's not a suspension design platform.
Neutral in the best way that it can be neutral. Solid pedaling platform, pretty mild kickback, pretty mild. He balanced a lot of things in a pretty nice way, I think.
So wanted to test that first, right?
See if what he says actually is legit.
So really, this design, the prototype, was around, does the suspension platform even work the way that we are hearing that it works? Because I've never ridden one before. And then it was really to test out, in the prototype, the design is really focused around, and any design or any prototype we do, whether we do it for our bikes in-house or we do it for other customers that work with us, design and prototype go hand in hand for the first iteration, and that you're taking these ideas that have yet to exist and seeing if they work.
Yeah.
So
can you make it?
Can we make it? And then does the result match what we thought it was going to be?
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people get hung up on a lot of the details of the bike and have a lot of questions on why we did things the way that we did. and it's really an amalgamation of all the things that we think are going on and trying to test that in one thing, so we don't have to make 20 different bikes to test all the different things. It's like, well, just put it all in one. Now there's something to be said about breaking that out into multiple things, because then we can actually like test different things independently. But you know, we don't have a huge budget here. We don't have like miles of time, so we're developing something that is taking a lot of things into account in one thing. So it might look a little funky because like we're trying different stuff. CNC'd rear end, like we're not having a CNC'd rear end on our production bikes. Like it just isn't gonna work. You know, how big of a bend do we want in the down tube?
Like
how
down
far
tube
do we want it to be?
Yeah.
Like we don't have a rack of dies available to us. We have what we have in house, and then what we want to try to achieve.
There's a reason that it's its own separate piece, because until we settle on where we're going to be, we're at the mercy of the market, like what's available. And so that was what was available.
Right. So you're like, so here we are chopping 2 tubes in half and welding a muffler pipe in between, right? Like those are the things and the sacrifices you have to make just to like get an idea off the ground.
Just to get something you can ride.
Just to get something that you can ride.
And truth check.
Yeah.
You know.
So this bike was originally designed for me.
He's tall.
It's truly a one-off. And it's tall, it's long, and then we're also trying to incorporate features that you would see on like an extra small. So like, how do we make the front triangle bigger? How do we accommodate potentially like frame bags? How do we accommodate water? How do we accommodate all these different features that we're trying to talk about? And then also taking into consideration like, how is this going to ride on a trail? Are you going to hit a rock on your down tube? Like, this one you probably would. Like, but that's okay. That's okay. Like, let's go smack it on a rock. Like, let's go see where that point of where that problem arises. So that's like, from this specific design is very unique to itself, right? Like,
it's a one of one.
It is it's a prototype on a path to a production bike. So we already have a second one in process. Like, we're working on it, and it's going to be closer to what the actual production bike is. So a lot of the features that folks saw on this bike, the general idea is there, but it will not look like this bike. Even the size that I end up riding, it will not look like this. So steel, I mean, first material Stinner ever built with, so have a love affair with heritage. It's just instinctually like easy to latch onto it for us, and like know the material we're working with. We know it really well. And the rear end is aluminum, and the rear end will be aluminum on the production bike. I think the combination of the two, there's a lot of really good ride characteristics that come out of the two together.
And there's some flexibility in steel, or domestic manufacturer, and aluminum, the aluminum infrastructure for bicycle tubing, like bike specific tubing, butted tubing, shaped tubing, doesn't exist here. That is all overseas, and it's not that we can't access those materials, but it's a scalable thing. You need to order 400 bikes worth of tubes, right? With steel we can order 20. We can iterate faster, we can innovate faster, we can be more flexible in what we do in steel. And at some point, aluminum might be on the table, but it's like steel has the flexibility as a material and as just a thing, material to build a frame out of, that we can do a lot with it. I mean, I think we have a very deep understanding of what that material is, what the availability is, how we build a supply chain around that, and then how we can get it to market in like an affordable way, and like and at some relative speed, right? Like we don't want to be fighting supply chain or manufacturability when we're trying to get people on bikes, right? Like so that's the primary reason on why we're using steel. And again, those things aside, I think the bike in general is going to ride extremely well. It's going to be good.
Like I believe that steel front ends, and I think the industry in general is getting more comfortable with it. But like, as far as a bike that somebody can go ride and have a lot of fun on, especially a full suspension bike, like steel full suspension bikes are good. Right up there with the best. So all that to be said, this bike was designed and prototyped in August, and our final design is done now. We've ridden this bike. We understand the nuances of what we did and did not like. what needs to change. There's still work to be done to get to the final product, to have stuff in stock, and to like also make sure that our production bike, since the design is done, we need to make sure that the production bike
we've got to do production samples. Like, it's not, and from that process, like, iterate more changes if need be.
Like, does it need to go back through the washing machine and like get figured out? But more or less we're there. Now it's a matter of like connecting all the dots and putting all the things together. We expect to launch this in the early part of next year. And I think we have a product that people are going to be really stoked on. Yet to be seen.
I'm stoked on it.
I'm stoked.
I think it's going to be cool.
I mean, I think it looks very different than what this looks like. But like,
better.
I'm really excited about what it is. I think it's taking all of the things that we learned a lot about this one. Going through this process, and it's been fun. Like, I've had a chance to ride it because it's big. We've had Charlie's been able to ride it. Because
I'm glad some people are as tall as you. No, it's perfect.
Other ones have just been able to ride it around the parking lot, and then hopefully on the next one we're actually building more than just one. Because that's what you do when we go to production. Medium or something. When we go to production, right? Like, let's build a few more, and so we have a few more samples that are coming out of the final design, and that's going to allow more people to ride it. Hopefully, the feedback that we get is minor tweaks. But otherwise, like, I think the foundation is there for what I expect to be, what I hope to be, a really
something that we can
cool bike
send out into the world and people will be excited about.
Totally.
For me, one of the things that drew me to the 3DVO design and thinking about the things that we can do in steel, in the materials that we excel with, is like the packaging of this suspension system with the weight really low and the not modularity I should say, but like the adjustability that we can have with the system, where we can tweak the bike to do a lot of different things. We can take this suspension system and we can make a super enduro bike. We can make a big bike. We can also take those same characteristics and package it into a much more lean, kind of go fast focused machine that, you know, you'd be a lot closer to like cross country style with. And, you know, I think that's kind of the exciting thing with it. That's what, you know, drew me to it.
Totally. So this is the first video in a multi-part series of us talking about the new Romero, which is exciting. I'm super stoked. Like, we're finally getting videos live on YouTube, which I'm really excited about. So that being said, like, we'd love to hear your guys' feedback. I know there's some very opinionated folks out there that want to talk about this, and we'd love to hear about it. I mean, a part of this is like that we love to hear back from our customers.
We can talk amongst ourselves all day long, but
go ahead and feel free to comment in the comment section. Also, like, the plan is to do a lot more of these videos, so please like and subscribe, smash that like button. I'm stoked because like I've wanted to do this for a really long time, and like this is
about
like
10 years.
This is like a really exciting bike to talk about. Like, love road bikes, love drop bar bikes, and there's a lot of cool stuff to talk about there too. But this is like
different.
A lot of cool shit.
Very cool.
So excited to show you guys more, and really excited to show you what we got in store in the next episode. So stay tuned.